so happy to have you with me this week on the show. We are steaming into the holiday season, and today I want to share with you my secret weapons, Bach flower essences, and how I use them to stay balanced, stay in a positive mood, stay open, loving, and receptive as we move into the holidays. Whether it's having too much on your plate, both in terms of time and at the table with friends and family, or just being in a space of love and gratitude when you are with the people who are most dear to you in the world. Let me share some of my insights and tips to help you sail through the holidays with less stress, less frustration, and more love and authentic connection. I'm so grateful to have you with me. Living in a stressful world doesn't mean you have to give up on happiness. Instead, you can shift your perspective of stress and discover how to live your life in flow. Welcome to Happified. I'm your host, Susie Vine. Join me for inspiration and interviews with folks who are shining their light in the world in the areas of positive mindset, health, and wellness. I'm so happy to have you here. Welcome back. I am so happy to have you with me this week on the show. I am going to open up my toolbox and share with you some of my favorite supportive tools, my secret weapon when it comes to feeling lighter and brighter, happier, more present, more energetic, better able to stand up for myself. It's amazing what you can do with the support of these simple, safe, holistic remedies, flower essences. You might be familiar with them. I work specifically with the Bach flower essences, although there are many different types that you can dive into: Australian, Alaskan light, North American, Southwest desert essences. So you can get in wherever it resonates with you. But let me give you an introduction to what, in my perspective, is the most straightforward, most accessible, and easily supportive essences, flower remedies that you can use to help you move through the holiday season with less stress, less frustration, and more connection, presence, and love for your friends and family. So let's dig in. I've been working with Bach flowers now for almost 10 years. I was introduced to them as well as homeopathy when a friend of mine was expecting her first son, and another mother encouraged her to learn how she could use homeopathy to support herself and her child to stay well and need less visits to the doctor. That had my friend Shannon's attention, and I tagged along to class, and I became a flower essence practitioner about 7 years ago and have been using them regularly in my own life and in support of clients as they are working through whatever situations, professional, personal, just in our own evolution in terms of getting clear on what we want to create and how we want to be in this world. So, through my experience with flower essences, my first introduction to the powerful relief was through one that I won't be discussing later on, so I'll introduce you right now to white chestnut. White chestnut is a great remedy for the monkey mind, for calming that incessant mental chatter to get you off of that hamster wheel. And when I experienced that and had a more peaceful and easy falling off to sleep at the end of the night, those mental checklists finally quieted, I knew I was onto something that was amazing, that was accessible, and completely safe. So let's start at the top. If you're not familiar with flower essences, how do we know that they are safe? So they are not technically homeopathic. Homeopathic remedies are made with the principle that like heals like. And so in their original form, the substance that a homeopathic remedy is made of might cause symptoms similar to what you're experiencing, right? But they are so dilute and potentized, and this is a subject for another day, but they are so dilute that if you were to test them If you were to analyze this homeopathic remedy, you would find that none of the original substance is in it. That's why it's safe, because it's so dilute that you're really using the energetic properties of the original substance without ingesting that substance that could be harmful if you were to consume it in its raw or original form. So flower essences are almost homeopathic. They are not dilute per se, but they're similar in that they don't carry the original form or the source material. A lot of flower essences are made by infusing spring water with sunlight and letting that water take on the energetic signature of the flowers. In just a few cases, they are made with a boiling method in which they are steeped like a tea, and then that is preserved in brandy tincture. And so in those cases, it's a little bit more like a tea. It's almost moving into an herbal supplement capacity. There is a little bit of that source material, but in general, they're so dilute, they're preserved in brandy, and then you can put these drops in water or choose another vehicle to ingest flower essences. They're very, very dilute. So no matter the age, these are safe for babies up until very elderly clients. In fact, they're very helpful with people suffering dementia and agitation in their later years when they're sensitive to other medications, or they're just on a lot of medications and you don't want any contraindications, as well as children and especially pets. They're wonderful for pets. And that's where you can really see the amazing properties of these, because whether or not you might feel that there's a placebo effect going on, if it works, it works. And when you can see it change your pet's behavior or response, you can really trust that there's something amazing happening here. So flower essences are very dilute and safe, and they've been in use since the 1930s when they were studied by Dr. Edward Bach, who was an immunologist in Britain. He worked in standard medicine and general practice and in surgery, and then studied immunology before moving on to homeopathy, looking for ways to heal his patients that were less harmful, right? And so by using these very highly dilute and energetically potent remedies, such as homeopathy, such as the flower essences he discovered and standardized, he felt that he was stimulating the immune response, stimulating the body to come back into balance without applying change or harm to the body. And I can explain this a little bit better, and I'll be sharing at the end of the episode how you can learn more about flower essences. If this resonates with you, if you want to dive more deeply, you're always welcome to reach out to me through 3xlessstress.com. My website, there's a book a call button at the top of the page, but I'll also be sharing how you can learn more and actually add this information to your library of resources so you have these remedies in your toolkit and always accessible for you as well. So the holiday season tends to get a little hectic, and we've got Thanksgiving. Actually, that is the day that this podcast is planned to go live, is on Thanksgiving Day itself. And so as much as we're feeling gratitude to be in this season, to have the opportunity to connect with people and hopefully carve out a little bit of time to quiet, to slow down, to really savor the holidays, we all know that realistically, they come with an extra level of stress, of commitment, of events that are happening, holiday parties. If you have children in school, there's all of those activities and engagements that are adding to your to-do list at a time when you wish you could be slowing down. Winter is calling. It feels like a nice time to quiet and turn inward and get cozy, and yet we have all of these demands pulling us out of the house and pushing us to do more and show up and add all of this to our already busy selves. So how do we make it through the holiday season and find that state of peace, that state of grace, that state of gratitude and peace of heart that we want to be experiencing over the holidays? Here are my secret weapons. I'll go through a list here, a little shopping list as I pulled together some of my favorites of flower essences that I feel are most supportive over the holidays. And then if you visit the webpage, if you visit happifiedlife.com and the page for this episode, you'll find a way to get your own free resource if you want a quick reference. And as I mentioned, I'll let you know how you can take advantage of this holiday season. I'll be having a Black Friday special on my Back to Balance with Bach Flowers introductory workshop, where I actually go deeply into the practice of working with flower essences and how you can support yourself and your family with these wonderful remedies. So let me start with my little shopping list of favorites, and I'll have these in the show notes as well. So again, at happifiedlife.com, I'd love for you to share your comments, your feedback and takeaways, and you can learn more there if you're finding this on your favorite podcast player or watching the video over on YouTube. At the top of the list, the most perhaps emblematic plant of the Christmas season is holly. And holly is a wonderful flower essence for Christmas, for that spirit of having an open heart, for connecting with the people who are dear to you. Holly is a heart opener. And so if at any point you feel that you struggle to be present, to open your heart, to receive love or to give it, holly is a beautiful way to support yourself. So let me explain to you too that flower essences work along a spectrum. They can move you away from a more negative or painful expression of an emotion. As I was just saying, if you feel like your heart is not open, if you feel a little tender, a little stung around the holidays in this time of togetherness and you're feeling some disconnection, right? It can move you away from more painful emotions and into more positive emotions. So it doesn't flip a switch. It isn't moving from quote unquote bad to good. And so if you want to feel a little bit more of the beneficial qualities of a flower essence, you can enjoy them. You don't have to fit the description of the negative aspects, if you will, of an emotion in order to benefit from this flower. And there are a couple of other great examples of that I'll point out as we go along. So holly is the heart opener that I hope everybody will pay attention to this holiday season. And as I finally get into a more linear delivery method, let me tell you that these individual flower essences are available perhaps as close as your local health food store and certainly online, where you can also find practitioner kits. And I'll have more resources and links for those in the show notes. I have purchased single flower essence remedies through Flower Essence Services, a North American company that creates and supplies flower essences. If you are in the UK or also broadly available, Bach Nelson is the standard provider of Bach flowers. And you can also find kits from another company called Creature Comforters, which I have not worked with myself, but I have heard and seen them to be a fairly reputable company with high quality standards. So you can get individual essences or a kit. And in my personal experience and in my strongest suggestion to you is, if you are curious, if you feel called to work with flower essences, or after purchasing one or two remedies, you find that they are really supportive to you, I can't encourage you strongly enough to get a kit for yourself, especially if you have a family, so that you can have access to all of these 38 Bach flower essence remedies anytime you need them. And it'll be interesting then as you get to using them to see which ones you tend to go to. With that in mind, some more favorite flower essences for the holiday season. And these in only alphabetical order, not in terms of favorites, but agrimony is a wonderful flower essence to inspire, to bring you back to emotional honesty and authenticity. If you tend to put on a brave face or play the cards close to the chest, pretending like everything is fine and biting your tongue, agrimony is a wonderful flower to bring more of that authenticity to the table so you can be more authentically yourself. It also helps you understand the feelings that others are having. So it opens up that empathy for yourself and for others. Beech is a great flower essence for calming that critical response, for helping you to have more openness and acceptance when you're with others. If you tend to find yourself criticizing others, being a very critical nature, beech is a wonderful way to ease that and help you be more accepting. Century is a wonderful flower essence to help you honor your own needs and boundaries. If when you're with other people, especially family, you find yourself saying yes when you wish you were saying no, Century helps you honor your needs and your boundaries. Cherry plum is a wonderful flower essence for feeling less explosive, less compulsive, if you will. My mentor always described it as letting the kink out of the hose. If you're feeling that kind of frustration or bound energy, cherry plum is a wonderful way to bring some ease and flow back into your life. Chicory is another wonderful flower essence for love. Chicory is the motherliness flower, and in its less balanced state, that might be motherly in the way that you are looking for people to respond and to return your love in a particular way. Love with strings attached. And so with chicory, we can be more accepting, we can be less judgmental or critical, we can have that unconditional love to give and expectations in the receiving. So chicory is a beautiful flower to support a little more ease, especially around family. Elm is a great flower essence to ease overwhelm, which comes along with that overloaded to-do list, that busy schedule, or just when you're making 12 dishes for that one Thanksgiving feast and you feel like you're going nonstop. Elm will help you find that calm in a way somewhat similar to the white chestnut that I already recommended. Heather is a wonderful flower, again, for feeling more love and for looking to receive from other people. And what I'm saying there is not expecting to receive, but in an unbalanced heather state, we tend to be very self-absorbed. We're thinking about what we want, our own trials and tribulations. We tend to monopolize the conversation with people. It tends to be a feeling of me, me, me. And if you notice this about yourself, or if you're with people who tend to be demanding the spotlight, heather helps you be less absorbed with your own problems and also to listen more and have more compassion. And sometimes flower essences not only help us as the person using them, but also in this case and in many others, help you to have more balance and perspective in being in the presence of others who might be in an unbalanced emotional state. So heather can help you be more present and tuned in to the other people around you. It can help you boost that listening and compassion. If you're feeling worn down, sluggish, if you're having trouble finding your energy, hornbeam is a wonderful flower essence for helping you get back your gumption, for helping you turn on the gas, find that motivation, and get your energy moving. Hornbeam is a wonderful little uplifting flower essence. Now, if you tend to be hard on yourself or overly critical, if you have any feelings of self-judgment or guilt, pine is a wonderful flower essence. Pine helps us to release the shame and self-guilt, self-blame, and help us move into more grace and forgiveness. Rock water is a flower essence that is not actually made of flower. It's made of the spring water from the source that Bach was collecting the water and creating his flower essences from a beautiful, pure spring in Wales. Rock water helps you have more flow, helps you be less fixed, less like a rock and more like water. It really helps you embrace more flexibility and receptivity. Now, a wonderful flower essence that I find recommending in many cases for different clients, in many combinations, something that I use very often myself because it's a wonderful healer, it's a very soothing flower essence, is Star of Bethlehem. Star of Bethlehem can help us to heal and recover from old traumas and wounds and help us feel more connected to spirit, to that divine strength and guidance in our lives. So Star of Bethlehem is a beautiful flower essence overall for soothing, for healing, for supporting, and for helping us to come back to that state of connection, which Dr. Bach felt was fundamental for our well-being. He felt that all disease grew out of the illusion of disconnection. And when we found our connection to ourselves, to spirit, to each other, then that dis-ease can dissolve and we can be at peace and feel the harmony that we are designed to enjoy. In families, sometimes dynamics get a little bit difficult. You might have someone come to mind when you think of that person who is very passionate, very devoted to their perspectives and their ways of beings, their way is the right way. That is kind of a vervain personality. Vervain, I think of fervent. And when we need to calm that fervence, that passionate pursuit of what we feel is right, when we need to moderate that a little bit, be more open to others' opinions, be more tolerant. Vervain is a beautiful flower. Another flower that I enjoy, and actually is the name that I took on when I married, Vine. Vine is a great flower, again, that you can take when you need it or take when you know you're going to be with somebody who tends to trigger some of these feelings. So Vine is a flower that supports balanced leadership. And in its out of balance state, Vine is a flower that can help to calm the bullying, the overbearing behaviors that some people exhibit. And so if you feel you're going to be in the presence of someone who tends to be more overbearing or overpowering, who likes to have things exactly their way, or if you need to step up and shine a little bit to claim a little bit more authority and leadership in different situations in a balanced way, Vine is a beautiful flower to take. Again, it's great for the person who is out of balance, and it's great to help you step into more balance, more of the qualities of balanced leadership. Water violet is a wonderful remedy for people who struggle to be present in these social situations. If you tend to want to withdraw, if you feel a little bit aloof or have trouble connecting and engaging, water violet helps us come out of our shell to be more open and engaged in these social engagements. Now, wild rose is a wonderful essence to help us feel more engaged, to restore our passion, to bring more interest. So again, if you're feeling a little apathetic or resigned, if you're not excited about these social activities that are coming up, wild rose can help you just bring a little bit of that passion back to what you're doing so you can be more engaged and more present. And willow is a wonderful flower essence to address some very difficult emotions. If you're struggling with anger and resentment, if you have bitterness regarding a person or a situation, if you feel like it's difficult to overcome that, willow is a beautiful flower essence to help you feel more forgiveness, to help you find some contentment. And so sometimes in these family situations, having some willow flower essence can really help you feel more restored, more calmed, and more nourished so that you aren't responding from that place of feeling wounded or hurt. And then finally, and I fell out of alphabetical order, but impatience is a wonderful remedy to help us find patience through the holiday season. When we feel rushed and agitated, like we have to work at top speed in order to get things done, impatience is a wonderful way to help us take a breath, to find center, and to have a more peaceful energy as we move through life to do the things that matter to us. So that's my quick list of highlights, my favorites among the 38 for the holiday season. And I'll have on the webpage a place where you can sign up for a brief guide to flower essences, and that will come along with a recipe book of some combinations that I enjoy putting together. You can combine up to 6, even 8 flower essences and make a combination for yourself. If you feel like there are a couple of core themes you would like to move through, that's often a very lovely, efficient way to continue hitting those notes as you work to find more emotional balance. And you can always use the flower essences individually as they come in the store. And so flower essences in the store typically come in a bottle with a dropper. You can use 2 to 3 drops under your tongue, maybe 2 to 3 times throughout the day, or you can put 4 to 6 drops of flower essence in a water bottle and have that beverage to sip on through the day. Because they're so dilute, it's really about the energy of the essences that you're consuming. It's not dose specific. You really can't do it wrong. And if you want to put some flower essences in a water pitcher on the table to inspire more harmony, more open-hearted connection, more patience, you can add a couple of flower essences. If it is something that is not going to benefit or support someone, it's not going to have an impact. You can't really take the wrong flower essence and have ill effects. However, sometimes we have a way of being, we have perhaps an imbalanced emotional state because it's a way of coping or it's something that needs to be healed and shifted. And so occasionally, if you take flower essences, this usually happens more if you're taking them yourself, if you're using them individually, if you're working a little more deeply, sometimes you might feel something that feels a bit like a healing crisis. Agrimony is an example. I have a family member who was working with some different flower essences, and I created a spectrum kit, 9 different combinations that throughout those bottles have all 38 of the essences. And so while they were working with one bottle, it had agrimony in it. We were working with some other focus, but that agrimony had them finding that they were speaking perhaps a little too freely, not really being patient and attentive to what they were saying. And so it calls your attention sometimes when it feels like it's an uncomfortable shift. It can call your attention to where that's coming from. What's behind the words now that you're saying? What are the feelings? And so Bach flowers are a wonderful invitation to become aware of how you're feeling, aware of how you would like to be feeling, and get curious about where is the difference, what's holding you back there, what could be coming up. It's wonderful working with individual flower essences because you can change daily according to the way that you're feeling. And certainly as a flower essence practitioner, that's one of the ways I love to support my clients, is by checking in with them and seeing how, as one flower essence is helping to relieve one issue, another flower essence might then be indicated. As we do the healing work and we carry less emotional wounds or trauma, then maybe we're ready to move on to releasing self-guilt and self-blame. And beyond that, then addressing that critical nature that we have, perhaps as a guard or a shield in social engagements. And so working with somebody who can help to reflect back to you where you are and where you're moving towards, working with someone like myself is really helpful in getting that perspective and helping you continue to make progress if that's something that you're hoping to do with the flower essences. Forgive a bit of disorderliness in my enthusiasm to share with you the Bach flowers. They're a passion of mine because they're so simple, they're so safe, and they're so powerfully effective. Whether you are on medications, even for ADD, ADHD, depression, anxiety, there's no need to worry about taking flower essences when you're on medications beyond the point that over time and as you are healing yourself with the flower essences, you may find that you need less of the medications. And of course, working with your practitioner in that regard, staying close and in communication with your health team that you know and trust, you might find that over time you need less medication. But in the present, You'll find that you feel supported, it helps you feel lighter and brighter, and help you feel more empowered in reclaiming control of your emotional well-being. As I mentioned, it's Black Friday on the week that this podcast is going live. I'm going to have a special offer available for just a few days. You will find that on the website at happifiedlife.com on the webpage for this episode. Please take a look over there. I invite you to enjoy not only my Back to Balance with Bach Flowers workshop, but with this special savings opportunity, I'm going to be including my digital library of guided meditations, as well as a recording of my Break Free of Burnout webinar and the resource that goes along with that. So I'm sharing a trifecta of self-care, of reclaiming your emotional well-being to help you move into the holidays feeling more balanced and lighter and brighter. I hope you'll take me up on this invitation. I hope you'll let me know about your experience. Share on the website, comment on the YouTube video, or join us in the Live with Less Stress group in Facebook to share your experience. Are you new to Bach flower essences? Are you excited to learn more? Is there one that you've tried that has helped you to find a shift? Or are you curious about where to begin? Let me help you in starting down this journey of empowered well-being and peace and harmony. I'm so happy to have you with me on the show. I appreciate your time in the midst of all that you're doing, and I appreciate what you're bringing to the world. Thank you for showing up, for doing what you do, and thank you for carving out a little bit of time to take care of yourself. We need your light in the world, and I'm so grateful to have you in it. Until next time, take good care. Thanks for joining us today. To learn more about living life with less stress and more flow, visit happifiedlife.com. Subscribe on your favorite player to catch the next episode as soon as it's out. Sharing really is caring, so please rate and review the show while you're there. And if you know someone else who would love it, please pass it along. Until next time, my friends, keep on shining.